Hello, everybody. This is Jasper, and welcome back to another episode of the Newton Public Schools Alumni Association podcast. And today we have another special guest joining us. Please welcome Lucy here. So, hello, Lucy. Very happy to have you part of the show. I'm very excited to have you share a bit about yourself today. So, I guess we might just getting us started a bit with who you are when you graduated South, as well as what you're doing now.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to be on the podcast. So thank you for inviting me. I started actually I graduated in 2011, so it's been
Wow.
about 14 years since I've been at South. And I moved on to go to college at Boston University, where I studied advertising and psychology. So I got a double
Wow.
major
I
there,
see.
and took that psychology and advertising career and turned it into a decade plus long career in
Oh.
sales, in tech sales specifically. Currently, I am based in the San Francisco Bay Area in California, and I work as the head of sales for the SMB sales team at Pinterest.
Wow, that is amazing. Going to college, doing sales, and I guess having such a long career in doing sales as well. So I guess we mind just giving us a short, in look of, what you kind of do in your everyday job when you kind of do sales. What exactly do you, I guess, sell?
Yeah, so I think there's a big difference between being a sales leader and then an individual contributor, which is someone who is actually doing the selling day to day. So I'm currently a sales leader, meaning that my day to day, I manage sales teams and sales managers. And so currently I go to work, and my primary responsibility is to drive revenue and to be able to report to the business on how many sales we're bringing in weekly, monthly, quarterly, what
Wow.
trends I'm seeing in the business, opportunities that we can take on to accelerate that growth. We push on different sales initiatives or sales motions to try to
Oh, I see.
accelerate our deals, and push them to the finish line. And I also do a lot of the people aspect of my job. So I help people develop professionally. I grow their careers. I help them navigate through different obstacles and unblock barriers for them.
I see. That is absolutely amazing. And I guess, a lot of kids here in Newton South probably also kind of want to do something related to marketing or sales just like you in the future. So I guess, is there anything you did at South that you feel maybe helped you prepare really well for, I guess, the world of sales in either college, undergrad, or maybe in the when you entered the workforce? Or do you think it kind of really started your inspiration to do sales in college?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, a lot of things in high school helped me get to where I am today. I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the improv or theater classes that I used to
Oh,
take. Improv is where you have to think on the spot and always say yes. And I think having that skill set taught me how to be effective as a salesperson in general, because when you're on the phones and you're selling, you're going to come across unexpected curveballs or objections from your prospects. And to be able to think on your feet is a really valuable skill to have. Beyond that, I did speech and debate. And that helped me learn how to communicate effectively, of
right,
course.
yeah.
A lot of my English classes helped as well. Just in general, communication is a key
Mhm.
skill to have if you want to get into a career in sales or marketing.
I see. That is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, I guess transitioning from high school to college, I guess, you've done sales for all 4 years of your college life, which is amazing because it prepared you extremely well for a career of sales outside of college as well. So, is there maybe one thing or two things you did in college that you feel maybe was the most important thing in either advancing your knowledge of sales or contributing to your pursuit of a career path there?
I think what I learned most from college that helped me land a job in general, like if we just decouple the sales piece with getting a job, is really learning how to sell myself in an interview setting
I
and
see.
how to stand out amongst hundreds and thousands of applicants, right? As you know, it's really hard to stand out these days in this
Yes,
economy, in this job
definitely.
market. So I remember taking a class once where we invited a recruiter from an advertising agency to come in,
Oh.
and they actually spoke to, these are the resume do's and don'ts. This is how you should represent yourself in an interview. And I just learned in that session alone, I learned the power of persistence. So I landed my first ever paid internship by
Wow.
messaging a recruiter on LinkedIn and explaining why I'm interested and how I could be a good fit.
Oh,
Did not
that's
hear back.
amazing.
So I messaged him every single month for several months in a row until he finally reached out to me and said, the only reason I'm giving you a shot is because of how persistent you were. And that helped me stand
Oh, I
out,
see.
more than a decade ago.
I see. That is extremely impressive. I guess just pressing on and just asking the same person again and again, and it got you your, I guess, an internship that can help you so much. So speaking of internships, a lot of things that us high schoolers are worried about is, when I get to college, I have to apply for all these different internships. So for you, I guess, since you've already shared with us that you've managed to get an internship in college, how important do you view the internships in college are specifically either for the area that you're doing or maybe in general? And I guess how much did an internship help you when you did it?
I think they're extremely important. These days, employers are not just looking for college degrees or college graduates.
Mhm.
I would even dare to say that real life experience is more important than just the traditional academic experience. It depends on the field. Of course, if you want to be a doctor, the degrees have to be
Right,
there. But
yeah.
in most of the other fields, I would say having real life internships, apprenticeships, and just experience in general, co ops, can go a long way to differentiating yourself and showing future employers that you know what it's like to work in a professional environment.
I see. So you'd say that, internships are extremely important and getting one is kind of like, I guess, an insight into what it's really like to work in this job in the future. Is that right to say?
Yeah, and to have experience on your resume, right? It's so much
Hmm.
harder to get a job out of college if you don't have any professional working experience.
Definitely, yeah, I see. So, I guess after doing your college undergrad, do you do anything after that in terms of, going to college, or do you kind of dive straight into a job?
So I graduated early, actually, a semester early from
Wow.
BU, and I was lucky to get a job right away. I was able to get a sales job, actually, selling at
Wow.
a tech company called Level Up. I
Okay.
believe they were acquired by Grubhub, so now they're part of one
Ooh.
company, but they were like a mobile payments and loyalty app. And so, yeah, my first job out of college was hitting the phones. I was making 30 calls, 30 to 60 calls actually a day,
Ooh.
trying to sell to restaurants, and ended up being really good at sales. So that's what, jump started my career.
I see. So, I guess would you say that in sales, the best way to advance in it would be to get as much experience as possible, or is it kind of like a constant process of maybe learning from your superiors or doing studying by yourself?
I would say the best way to succeed in sales is to have thick skin, to be persistent,
I see.
to accept failure and learn from them. It's less a field where you study a lot and more about
Hmm.
just nurturing
Right.
those interpersonal skills that you have and those soft skills that you have. I mean, I think everything in life is sales, right? Whether you work in a sales industry
Yeah.
or not, you sell yourself to your teachers, your
Right.
friends,
Definitely.
your employers, everyone. Everything is sales.
I see. I love this approach that you have about, everything is about, convincing other people to do what you want them to do. So, you shared so many things today about what's important, how you managed to get your first internship by, persisting on. So, aside from, I guess, just persistence, which is important nearly every place in life, is there maybe one more value or mindset that you could maybe share with us measly high schoolers who don't have as much life experience as you that you feel maybe will bring us a long, long way in life just as, it has brought you?
Ooh. Mm, that's such a good question. I would say don't don't re- don't forget that the people you meet and the network and relationships that you develop go a long way. So, as
I see.
as you grow in school and graduate and move on to other things, you're going to come across lots of difficult decisions, and I always recommend having like a board of directors. So I,
Oh.
at any given time, have people in my group that I know will support me and motivate me, but also some very critical friends as well that can challenge me and give me a different perspective, be devil's advocate. And I always go back to the same 4 or 5 people to make any decision that's
I
impactful, and
see. Okay.
consult with them. So I think looking at your network, nurturing those relationships, and finding those 4 or 5 people that you know you can count on to help you think through the pros and cons of life is really important.
I see. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this with us today, Lucy. I hope that, everyone listening has learned a great deal of knowledge from this, because I personally have, this is the first time hearing about, having a group set of, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 friends whom you maybe consult every time you make an important life decision. That is something that I personally might definitely try out in the future. So once again, thank you so much to Lucy for coming today. To everyone listening, thank you for very much for listening along, and I hope to see you all next time. Thank you.
Thank you.